Okay,
That's
so
good.
thank you for joining. What
My
is one
pleasure.
thing that made strategic for planning for life experience relevant and important for you? And I know you use this for your team too. So also if you have, how it affected
Right.
you personally and or your team.
Right. So I would say that strategic planning for life is always relevant to all of us. It's something that's not necessarily just a timely thing at a certain time of life. I think regardless of life circumstances or the time of year or the season of life where I am in my career or my family life, it always can benefit me and my team to strategically plan what my next steps are and be very intentional. Set those intentions for the year and then use those intentions throughout life and business, and making sure that I am making decisions, not just letting life push me however it wants to push me, that I'm able, maybe that's partially my desire for some control over things, but being intentional and being present, it does enable me to guide some things in my life and then be present in those as they're happening.
And I know you started because you wanted to bring this to your business, correct? Were you
Right.
were you shocked that it kind of trickled into your not business life and some of your personal life? Because I know that happened to me, and I was kind of shocked. I started where I wanted to focus on my career, and then I was really shocked how much it trickled in, to my everyday life.
Yeah, that's it. Good question. I would say I came into it expecting that I would be able to apply some of the principles that I've used for planning my business and use those towards my personal life. So I think I came into it with that expectation that it was going to be more focused on my personal life. The idea that I've had a scorecard for my business and we've got metrics to drive the business, and I spend all this time in strategic planning, but I really haven't put that same amount of intentional effort into planning how I'm going to approach family life and how I'm going to approach engagement with my wife and with my kids.
Yeah.
That's really what drove me to do it. So I would say it wasn't a surprise that it really applied a lot to my family life. I did want to bring it so that my team could enjoy that as well. And maybe there were some surprises about how heavily family priorities weighed in on some things. But I think that it really kind of met my expectations. It was what I was hoping to get out of it, was applying some of that strategic planning to be more intentional about personal life
Yeah.
and how work fits into that.
We love that. Which part of the process do you think added the most value for you and your team and your life? Was there
I would say
a
that
piece?
I would say the part that added the most value for our team was making sure that everyone was being intentional about the decisions they made in their career and how that affects their intentions for life. So if for instance I'm making decisions about how I want to grow the business and what I want to do with my role in the business, but I'm not considering how that affects my wife and my kids and my ultimate goals for life in general, then I'm really not achieving my life goals. I might be achieving some business goals, and I think it's become more popular over the last several years to look at success not just as wealth or financial success or position and power within career, but that you're leaving a legacy and impact. Is something that my mindfulness coach said recently. The energy that I bring to a situation is more important than my involvement or the time that I put in, the effort I put in. It's really the energy. And so thinking about that energy that I bring to work and the energy that I bring when I come home, so that it's not I put all my energy into work and then I have nothing left at home. Uh, that I would say is the most valuable thing that I got out of it, and that I saw team members get out of it as well. That they could really think about what is it that they're doing at work that enables them to fulfill their life purpose and be their truest self. And so that I saw a number of kind of sparks within the team where they had these realizations about how they're showing up at work and how they're showing up for their family. And I would say that that's probably the most valuable part.
Could you see that change in the group while they were going through the process and the course? Did you see those unlocks happening for not just you, but for your entire team?
I definitely could. I heard from, I recall one team member who said there was a moment of realization about how this person was showing up, and the things that they used to be really proud of, they said maybe are now being received differently than they expected. And so thinking about that intentionality of how they show up, and how they are being their truest self, and how that might change in different contexts. So I heard some realizations on our calls, and in the reflection that people did between those sessions. It was clear that it wasn't just me getting a lot out of it. There were others who were having these epiphany moments where they realized something that they wouldn't have realized had it not been for strategic planning for life.
It is nice to see that happening for other people and validating, like, okay, this isn't just for me, it is working for everybody. And it's, such an amazing thing. How quickly did you see changes in your day-to-day from the work, or like day-to-day within the company once you guys started the course?
Good question. I would say I really, from every exercise that we did, I could see some impact pretty quickly. Between sessions, I would apply what we had learned, and whatever exercise I was doing for the prep work for the next session, I could apply that pretty quickly, and I could see some pretty immediate impacts of, for instance, the where am I living where am I my truest self, and what experiences. So those best life experiences, and thinking about that in comparison to what am I actually doing? What am I spending most of my time on? And am I being my truest self, or are there ways that my personality and those traits are not really able to play out because of the situations that I put myself in? And so I could immediately start shifting the situations I put myself in. Yeah. Or I could shift my mindset about, looking at my values. I could change my mindset about how I was approaching something so that it better aligned with my values. And it's not just company, corporate, core values. It's my personal values, and how do those align with the company values? So I feel like I was able to apply those things pretty quickly.
Yeah. Is there one piece of the coursework that you felt like really brought out the most energy in you, or something you had like the biggest unlock? Was there one piece, or was it, the whole package together? I know some people say there's just like one piece that they were all great, but this one stood out the most to them. Did you have one that was more impactful?
Good question. I should go back and look through. So I do feel like there were some exercises that made me immediately make some changes, and those, I think, where I realized that there's something, maybe one that stands out for me is when we were talking about those. Help me remember what it's called, where it was like the if anything were possible. Do you remember those, like where?
Yes, I'm drawing a blank. Oh my goodness.
It's the stretch. I should go look that up. But we were encouraged to think about if there were no constraints. What's something that's sort of an unrealistic goal to have. And you'd say, what, if there were no constraints, if money and time were no object, I'd want to be able to do this. And you made this list of the top 10 things that I would want to achieve.
The absurd list.
And I thought, the absurd list, thank you. So as we were looking at the absurd list and these things that seem kind of absurd, like if I could have anything, what would I have? And I thought about those things, and I would have dedicated time to engage with my kids every week. Like, I can have these things. Yeah. Like, this is not as absurd as I thought. And that was a really fun moment to just, first of all, to have that freedom to say, you know what, I need to care for myself and my family. What are these absurd things that if so I wanted these extravagances, what would I have? And it didn't end up being, I could have a Ferrari, or I could have this dream vacation. Like, the dream vacation is a road trip with my family, and I can have that. And those things are within reach. And then realizing I can then take that absurd list and identify what are some changes that I can make to achieve some of those things this year. That was really energizing for me, because it's kind of an unlock of things that you kind of don't think are possible. And you're like, wait, that is totally possible. I can do
Yeah,
that. I can
once
do
you get
that.
them out, it seems more tangible. And I love
Yeah.
that because I had that same unlock there. And then when I did the deathbed, because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, those are absurd, but I can't do that right now. It's not going to work. And then I did the deathbed and I was like, I have to do these because I
Yeah.
don't want that regret later. And they're very doable and I need to do those. Um,
Yeah.
so that's really cool. I love that. If
That deathbed, if I could add on to that deathbed activity of who's going to be surrounding me at the end of my life on earth, and how do I want them to remember me? What do I think they will say about me? What do I want them to say about me? It's an exercise that I think that one in particular, it struck me as, oh yeah, this is the kind of thing I've done this before.
yeah.
Like, yeah, write your eulogy. But the thing about strategic planning for life is the intentionality of how the exercises are strung together, the sequence that they're put together in, the way that we share our results from one step to the next. The deathbed activity for me was completely different than doing a very similar activity other times in life, because of the way it builds up, looking at your personality and your core values and your best life experiences. That sequence of events leading up to the deathbed activity gave me a very different perspective and different approach to it. And I do remember that was the time when I got the most emotional, I think, in the course, thinking about, and it seems sort of understandable that thinking about death might get you kind of fearful or emotional, but thinking about the way that the people I love most and who I want to care about me the most, thinking about the way that they perceive me and what has impacted them, by the end of my life, throughout my life, what has impacted them, and in what ways might I be letting them down right now, or in what ways might I not be delivering for them what I want to deliver for them, the energy and the support that I want to deliver. That was really emotional for me. So I just love the sequence of events leading up to that, and how that was a big unlock for me as well. That I want to make sure that by my final days, and really by tomorrow, like I want to be showing up for people in the way that I want them to remember me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really interesting the sequence too, because I think it, lets you, the coursework doesn't tell you what your answers are. You really reflect on yourself. And by the time you get to the deathbed, you have, what are your values? What are your goals? What are your drives and drains? What's making you happy? And then you look at that and you're like, in the absurd
Right.
list, that time is fleeting. And because everyone's like, oh, there's tomorrow, there's tomorrow. And then it hit me like, if I'm on my deathbed tomorrow, will I be happy with this? Did I incorporate all these things? And, if the answer is no, what are you going to do to change those? And it really was like, oh yeah, I need to
Yeah.
start living my life every day and not just on the weekends or, say next year. And so
Yeah.
I felt the same way there. It was the sequence of events leading up to that really made that more impactful for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
What made this different from any other program or courses you participated in before? And for you and your team, what was different about this?
For me, I would say strategic planning for life was different because it is very much centered on the individual, on personal planning as well as professional. It's not focused around the business, the core values of the business, a person's contribution to the business. It is about the individual and their fulfillment in life. And that frequently ends up being their family, their personal development. And there are other programs that we might do around emotional intelligence or communication style, things that might benefit someone's personal life. But this is the only program we've done that is very much centered on personal life fulfillment, making sure that our team finds fulfillment in their lives and that they're intentionally making decisions that bring them more fulfillment and help them achieve their life purpose. So that to me made this very different from any other program we've done. I would say one other thing that is unique to this program. We had one team member who left the team who participated in strategic planning for life, and it almost feels like a success in a way that person found what was going to be most fulfilling. And I acknowledged from the beginning of the program that through this process, I knew that there was a possibility that, as we were talking about what is really going to be fulfilling in your life, and what if you were intentionally planning to meet that life purpose, that there's a possibility that that does not mean staying with the team.
Yeah.
And that's painful. And anytime you lose someone, that's painful. It's a big investment for us to make in our people. But that's what I want. I want our team to find fulfillment. And so that's maybe another aspect that is unique to this program. I don't think I've gotten into any other sort of professional development program, and I consider this more a personal development program, thinking, you know what, this might directly cause someone to change their career path away from us. But that's the right thing, and that's what I want for myself and for my team, to find the right path, even if that means that our portion of their journey is over.
And kudos to you. Now they can leave and, they start somewhere else, and they've had all this knowledge and wisdom and, all this stuff that you've poured into them as a company. And that's an amazing gift to give, your employees, and to know that you're supporting them and giving them this amazing gift. I think that's amazing. So, I know it's been a little bit since you've completed the course. What's helped you to stay on the path and like check back in with yourself? How have you been continuing to add this practice into your life, and not just, the 9-week piece of it? How have you been just continuing this?
I'd say it's a constant challenge, a constant bit of work to make sure that I stay focused on my strategic plan, that I look at my annual life intention, or my annual intentions, my life intentions. So revisiting, I think documenting those things. I consolidated from the book. I consolidated my answers, the key answers that I felt like I needed to revisit regularly. I put those down in a place where I can see them regularly. I need to revisit it even more regularly. It should probably be a daily activity. Attending the regular community calls, that's been great. I really enjoyed during the program connecting with my team, those on my team who opted into the program, and we offered it up to everyone, and a portion of the team said, yes, I would like to work on that. That sounds like it would be fulfilling. It would help me to find more fulfillment. So that was great to connect with my team during the program. But since then, connecting with others who have gone through the program across other companies, with additional perspectives and diverse backgrounds, that helps me to stay motivated, to hear how it's impacting other people's lives. But honestly, it's something that I need to keep doing, need to keep putting effort into. And even talking today about the program helps me to refocus and think. As I'm planning to see Phil and Krista on Saturday for a mindful morning event, and when I see them, or I was out with my daughter delivering some Girl Scout cookies, and I said, you know what, we're driving by Phil and Krista's house. Why don't we stop by and just say hi? And so we stopped by and talked with them, and they are the kind of people that my daughter remembers, and she loves spending time with them. Phil chatted with my daughter about architecture and about their home, and those sort of things, those reconnections with the community, including Phil and Krista, and seeing them out in these in different settings. That helps me to stay connected to the work.
Yeah, and they love that. Krista, I met with her that weekend. She was just so excited you guys stopped by, and the girls, and because we come from a small town, so someone stopping by to just sell cookies and saying hi is very normal here, but not so much where they are now. So, and that is the one thing that we love about our community, is we want it to be like a global community with a very small town feel. Like the relationships that we build through this program are the most important to us, that everyone's connected and they have that, it's a friendship. It's a relationship, not just a course where you take it and then you're done. It's like the people that take this with you become family and friends, and that to me is great. But yeah, you made their week doing that. Krista was so excited to tell me that you guys stopped by, and who doesn't love Girl Scout cookies?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fun experience for us.
Yeah, good. So if you had to share with someone who's considering taking the program for themselves, what would you tell them? What are your kind of takeaways, and just kind of your final thoughts on this program in a nutshell?
So I think I would say, if you're ready to really be intentional about finding your life purpose and pursuing that purpose, setting a path for how you can find more fulfillment in life, integrating in work with what's going to be fulfilling for you personally and for your family. This is a great way to make an investment of your time in really identifying that path and starting to make some specific changes in your life that are going to help you to achieve that purpose. So I think it's a great investment, really a great way to make concrete steps towards greater fulfillment.
If you were talking to someone who was a business owner who was thinking about implementing this into their team and their business, what would you say to someone like that?
Good question.
Anything different? Like, what have you seen it do for your company, your employees, since you guys have taken the course?
I think it takes a certain amount of courage to say that you want your team to find personal fulfillment, even if that's above professional development or professional fulfillment. And it's a certain amount of confidence that that investment in your team's personal development and personal fulfillment is going to pay dividends for the company. I personally believe that that is the right move to make, that investing in my team, ensuring that their health and safety and comfort and fulfillment are of the utmost importance to me. That is the way to make sure that that by feeling supported, they are going to contribute even more at work. And when someone is not feeling that fulfillment, we can make adjustments. Or ultimately, if this is not the right place for them, and I'm able to help support their process of determining it's not the right place, that's even probably the right investment for us to make.
Did you find any unlocks with your team that when they were going through this work, you kind of saw like, oh, you value this and these are your goals, and this would be a great place in the company for you that we didn't think about because we didn't know this about you until you opened up and shared this kind of information with us?
That's a good question. I don't know if we've directly changed someone's role because of it. I've always had a mindset that I want my team to work on highly fulfilling work. And so if they have interests or a type of project, a type of client that would be interesting and fulfilling to them, that I want to know about that so that we can find that type of work. I would say that we have, over this last year, we've found more and more clients that make a real impact in the community. And we have been able to identify for some of our team members charities or philanthropies, nonprofit organizations, service opportunities. And we've started doing some community service together as a team. And those sort of things, finding those things that are going to be personally fulfilling to our team and making sure that we're providing those opportunities, that is definitely something that comes out of a program like this. With Strategic Planning for Life, if I understand what's important to my team, then I'm able, whether that's professionally or personally for them or with their family, I'm able to better support that. And I think that sort of feedback loop of understanding what they want to volunteer as important to them, I'm then able to use that information to help better support them and help them find fulfillment.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And that it really does, you're filling their cup so they can pour out to others and into the company. And, it's and that's important. So, well, that's great.
This is something that I would like. I honestly would like for my wife and for my daughters. I want others to help me understand, what is it that they want to achieve, or what they want to do to find fulfillment. And so we talk about this, in sharing. I went on a date with my wife and I said, can we go through the Strategic Planning for Life workbook? And I'll tell you what the exercise was, and I'd like to hear your answers. And so I wrote those down alongside mine. And so it would be interesting to go through as a couple in the future. But yeah, it'd be cool to go through this with my daughters as well. Because just as much as I would want my team to find fulfillment, I want my family to find fulfillment. So helping them with some of this planning would be fun.
It's much easier to help others and be connected when you know what their values and goals are also, because that was the same with my husband and I took the course, and then I had all my focus and I knew what I wanted, and I just figured, well, he knows and the family knows, and we were off for a little bit, and then I realized like, oh wait, no, we need to sit down and I need to let you know, like, what are my goals, what are my values, what am I trying to accomplish here to live my life intentionally. And then we did that the same thing. We were in Florida for vacation, and I got the book out and said, hey, let's go through these. What are yours? And it was a huge unlock for me too, because I thought I
Yeah.
was supporting him in ways where I wasn't, because I didn't know that was a goal or value to him. And likewise for me, he was didn't know. And then now that we've communicated
Yeah.
those to each other, it's been very helpful. And what we do
Yeah.
is every
Love that.
Monday we sit down, or Sunday evening, and go through those and kind of plan our
Nice.
monthly goals and values. And it has been crazy helpful. And I can't
Yeah.
even believe how helpful it's been. And it's, we've had sick kids since December, and work's been crazy, but it's been much easier to juggle when we are on the same page and playing as a team and understanding,
Yeah.
just like a business, you and your family life have to be on the same page, because how do you, accomplish a goal when everyone's going different directions? So
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's something, I mean, I think you even discover things about yourself. I wouldn't know what to tell my wife to help her understand how to better support me. But going through strategic planning for life, I determine what's really important to me and what my intentions are, so that I can share them with her. How could she possibly know what sort of support I need if I don't even know? So I need
exactly.
to figure some of that out first and work through that with her.
And the book was crazy for me, because there were parts in there where I'm like, I don't know, or I don't know what goals I need or have. And,
Yeah.
Krista worked with her. She's like, yeah, you do. Let's think through these. And then all of a sudden I have 2 pages full. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So like that pulling out is easier. Yeah. Like you
Mhm.
said, to share now, because I didn't even know what I needed. So how will anyone else be able to help me with that too? So
Yeah. 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 Again, that the sequencing and the way that it's presented, any one exercise alone might be something that you think, oh yeah, I could do this on my own, no big deal. But the way that the program is structured, it really is. There's a lot of synergy between those exercises. The pathway and the community part of it, it makes it far more meaningful than I would have thought on the surface.
yeah. And I think that it's really, there's some that I'm like, oh, really? Is there much value here? And then you get done with that little exercise and I'm like, wow. Like the drives and drains for me, it was funny because
Yeah.
some of my drives that were really high up were some of my drains also. So it opened my eyes that I need to balance these, because I can have
Yeah.
something that really drives me, but if I do that too much, it's going to drain me. And it
Yeah.
was really helpful to see that and get that out, because I wouldn't have
Yeah.
probably pieced that together without doing that work and having that all out there.
Right. Right.